A forgotten artifact lies in pieces on a planet far from Earth. Few know it exists except those who took it back and those whose ancestors created it. 4 young people are thrown into a race against emissaries of the gods to find its pieces. Mistrust, greed, and magic are tangled in an endless web. What will the fate be of the universe once it is found and reassembled? Get Scepter of the Gods, The Rod of Truth now on Amazon, and get wrapped up in the saga that will not let you go.
Good morning, and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. I hope that this morning's podcast will help you to be more spiritually and positively motivated so that you can transform your day. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining me today at the Motivational Devotional. I'm Mark the Writer, and today is the 5th episode of my New Year's series, 50 Ways to Love Your Soul. I hope you are fully engaged in the goals you have set for yourself this year. Please be sure your goals are bigger than you can currently accomplish so that you must grow into the person who can achieve them. That way, you will be encouraged and motivated by the progress you make as you see yourself becoming a whole new you. I am excited about this series because it's going to be really cool, and if you follow me along every day, I guarantee you will see yourself more positively with more confidence and less stuff weighing you down. As I share 50 different ways for you to be your own best Valentine, I am sure there will be a handful of things that work great in helping you grow into who you want to be. If you know anyone who could use some encouragement in setting goals and taking life by the tail, then this is it. Share this podcast or share the blog version from motivational-devotional.com if they would prefer to read it. Today we're talking about your positives. I know you have seen most of the same things I have that encourage people to learn to love your faults. Heck, I even talk about the same thing. No matter what your shortcomings are, beating yourself up about them won't do you any good. We certainly don't want to continue putting in messages that hold us back, and if we're always looking in the mirror, thinking about all the things that are not right, such as one's shape or weight or hair or skinny shoes or whatever, then that will create negative input that holds us back. So, yeah, I'm right there on that bandwagon of saying that you and I both need to continually work on accepting our faults and feeding ourselves with positive messages. We do that, no matter what. What I don't think I've seen much of is doing the exact opposite. When I have people tell me that I am really smart or creative or handsome or, well, anything positive, really, my tendency is to immediately discount it and offer back a thank you along with some explanation for why they aren't quite correct. For some reason, it is easier to hear my faults, even though it hurts, than it is to hear my positives, even though that makes me feel really good. If you are not that way and you can accept a compliment and simply say thank you, then you are already doing what this podcast encourages everyone to do. You hear someone tell you that you did a really good job on a project, and you immediately think to yourself that they're right, you did, and you're grateful that they acknowledge it. Then you're already loving your own positives. Let's be sure that we aren't going overboard, though, which I think is why people like me have a hard time hearing our positives affirmed in the first place. A humble person is not going to want to ever be an egotistical, narcissistic person, and so to avoid being thought of that way, a lot of people struggle with hearing a compliment and simply saying thank you. So I want to be sure nobody hears this podcast and thinks I'm saying everybody should walk around with an attitude of, look how great I am far better than anyone else. No. Not saying that at all, and let's make it really clear that loving your positives is not about comparing yourself to anyone else. You can tell yourself that you are extremely smart without saying you are smarter than anyone else. You can tell yourself that you are highly creative without saying that you are more creative than anyone else. You see the difference. So when people say to you how well you do this or that, or they tell you how good looking you are, or how nice you are, or how generous you are, just work on being able to always thank that person and realize that they are correct without comparing yourself to anyone else either. One of the best ways we can love and appreciate our own gifts and what we bring to the world is by telling ourselves that we are extremely good at the things we need to do to live into the lifelong dream. If your lifelong dream involves professional music, you have to tell yourself that you are an excellent musician and then work on letting the rest of the world realize that too. So I want to encourage you to write down a list of anything positive about yourself. Don't make this only the list of strengths you would say to someone in a job interview. This is more than that. You wouldn't say in a job interview, well, I'm really good looking, so there's that. But that's the kind of thing to tell yourself when you're driving, taking a shower, walking down the hallway at work, working in your yard, that kind of thing. If you can't make that list right now, then make it as soon as you can this morning or today. Be willing to tell yourself out loud things like, I am highly intelligent. I am gifted with music. I am a compassionate friend. I am a really good listener. I love that I can cook great food. Never discount your positives when someone else compliments you, but I also recommend not blowing it out of proportion either. A simple thank you is okay. And most people probably wouldn't even be put off by you saying, you know, I did, didn't I? Thank you for noticing. I really appreciate that. Let your positive qualities be what you love about yourself and put them to work with the intent that they will help you pursue your lifelong dreams. Use your positive qualities relentlessly. The best parts of you will give you your best life because all of creation is conspiring in your favor. Trust that the universe always has your back. Louise Hay once said, "You have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens." Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @Threefold Way Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support and thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow. Motivational Devotional is in production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.